Hello and welcome back to the podcast that will always put the bunny back in the box. Welcome back to another episode of the Love, Death and Movies podcast, internet's #1 film breakdown and review show. The show that crushes watch lists week after week. Every month is a different genre. Every week is a different film of the genre. So join us on follow us on everything. Join us on the ride. Let's watch some movies every week. It's like another wheel off the fucking carriage. Ash. With me, of course, as every week. Oh, this week is a disaster. With me, of course, this week and every week is Pride of the West Coast. Ash First Movies. Ash, how are you? Jesus Christ, talk, please. Take it over. I can't believe it.
Hey, we do this every week, and we've been doing this every week for almost a year. So we're bound to not be perfect, okay? We're only human.
That's
and
true.
Harry's been carrying the weight on hosting these episodes. So give him a break, people, okay?
Hey, give me a break. Give me a break. Come on.
The Swans played. He had to have some beer and dumplings. He's having a rough time, all right?
Look at him.
He's trying his best.
Look at them. Come on, the boys, the bloody Bloods. That's the nickname, is the Bloods. It's like, come on, the Bloods. That's so good. I love
That
it.
means something entirely different to me. I'll tell you about it later.
Yeah. I'm learning. Ash, we're starting up a new month. And finally, my prayers have been answered. We're doing the month of Nicolas Cage, otherwise known as the Cage Rage month.
Yes.
So we're starting up with a movie. I'm not sure. Have you seen this before? This film? Oh, good. We're starting up with Raising Arizona, one of my favorites, and I'm hoping one of your favorites as well of his filmography. Directed by Joel Cohen, 1987. I can't wait for this. This will be a good little chat that we're going to have. We're also continuing on next week with Adaptation. Then we're going on to Face Off, and then finishing it off with the grand reveal, the Grandmaster of National Treasure, which we all can't wait for. Everyone's been petitioning for this, which will be good fun. Don't look into how we're wearing the same sort of clothes. We're definitely not bulk recording a couple episodes. That's just not happening. Don't worry about it. So if I ask Ash what how her last week's been, and it's the exact same answer, don't worry about it. Ash, how you been?
Can you imagine I just make up an entirely different version of how my week went?
It's like you tell me half your week the first time, and then the second half, the second episode. But how's it been for the last 15 minutes?
I'm trying to think of something different and new I can tell you. Something fresh. It's been just fine. I was struggle bussing earlier, and today's been a bit rough for me. But I'm feeling better now. I feel like last episode, talking and talking about Vertigo got my energy up. I feel like I'm there now. So I'm excited to talk about this film. My dog is being good, so that's a win. And it's Saturday night. There's nothing to be upset about. So.
Saturday night's all right. Nice one. Epic. It's Sunday morning or afternoon for me now. Unreal.
Yeah.
It's the way the globe works. I'm in the future, and there's weird shit's happening over here. I can tell you that right now.
We're recording a lot later than we normally do. Usually it's more your mid-morning, but yeah, now
It's literally because I went out last night. We planned ahead. I'm like, just letting you know, I'm going out Saturday. The Swans are playing. My boys.
You deserve to have fun, Harry. You deserve to go out.
Holy shit. I had a hot dog. It was the best hot dog I've had in quite some time. Holy smokes.
Not like that one time when you got a cold hot dog?
Oh, don't get so. Oh, I will never get over this, Ash. We're versing a rival team, and it's a rival team in Sydney. They're named GWS, which is Greater Western Sydney. That's their team name. And went to their stadium, which is like an hour away from where I live. I can literally, the best way I can describe it to you, whenever I go to see a live game, my main thing is I get a beer and a hot dog. That's my things. That's what I eat. That's what I drink. They literally made the hot dog, sauce and all, and then put the hot dog and bun into a fridge for hours. That's what it tasted like. Like the bun was like cold, moist bun. And then the hot dog was like stone cold. I had one bite and I threw the rest out. Cost $13. $13. That's fucking nuts. Last night, went to our home ground, $6. Great hot dog. Unreal.
Why the Swans are the best.
That's why the Swans are the best. Go look at them. Look at them.
We're here to talk about the other best, though, which is
Nicky Cage. Thank you for a good tangent. Jesus Christ. Oh, she's the best in the biz. Nicky Cage. We're talking about Raising Arizona today, Ash, which is made in 1987, directed by Joel Cohen. Budget of $6 million, which isn't that much back then. But you can kind of see where it went to. You can see a lot of this film was very much made, with low budget-esque, but then there's a couple of good set pieces in this film that just come out of nowhere. But the box office was 29.2, so it wasn't like a barn burner, but it still made money, which is good. A quick synopsis: their lawless years are behind them. Their child-rearing years lay ahead. When a childless couple, an ex-con and an ex-cop, decide to help themselves to one of another family's quintuplets, their lives become more complicated than they ever anticipated. Apologies, that sentence was written very poorly and it tongue-tied me instantly. This is going to be a long episode. Ash, what do you think of Raising Arizona?
Yeah, I watched this movie growing up a couple of times with like my brothers and my dad, and so I definitely knew scenes. Um, but I had not watched it in a very long time. I actually weirdly I started this movie maybe like 4 or 5 months ago, and I was just having like a really bad day. I was on a really bad headspace, and I thought like a comedy, make me feel better. And I just like I could not get myself into it. And I was like, it's not fair to this movie. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna try again another time because I just don't like watching movies that I know are fun if I'm just not feeling like my headspace is right. I don't want it's not fair to the movie.
Yeah.
So I stopped it and I didn't end up watching it. But I got like 30 minutes in. So I had obviously seen like some of those opening scenes and some of the really great moments. But then we talked about doing a Nick Cage month and you wanted to watch this one. I was like, oh, perfect. Like I'm going to rewatch it all the way through and it's going to be great. So my first time rewatching it since like probably high school. And I had so much fun watching this. I feel like my taste in comedies has shifted so much since then. This is like right up my alley.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. I just think that Hi and Ed is just one of the most like hilarious couples, and they're just like caricatures. They don't feel like real people. It's so fantastic.
They feel like cartoon characters.
Yeah, it makes it so much easier to fall in love with this movie knowing that these people all seem so unrealistic. But also if you know Arizona, and I feel like especially like Tempe, Arizona, this does not surprise me at all to think that these type of people could exist there. And I think it makes it so funny to think that like the town and like the setting is like a character along with all of these people. But yeah, the premise is hilarious. I mean, ex-con and like how they meet even mixed with ex-cop living in like a trailer in the middle of the desert and they want a baby from like a billionaire. It's hilarious. There's just no way this movie could be bad.
Exactly. This movie's fantastic. I love this movie. This movie's like one of those. It's an easy recommendation. This sort of film. Yes. You know what I mean? It's short. It's sharp. It's very well made. It's so uniquely quirky, but it's just such a fucking vibe. All of it.
Yes, it's so quotable too.
So quotable. Wake up, son. I love this movie so much. I adore this movie. This movie's fantastic. I love everything about Raising Arizona. Not specifically Nick Cage. I think he's probably the best part of this film. Just his performance alone, I think, is amazing. But Holly Hunter is incredible as well as Ed. She's fantastic. I think everyone in this film does their role perfectly. I think it's great. But Ash, shall we get into it?
Yeah.
Awesome. So Ash, again, I haven't really broken this up. I'm going to stop periodically. But if you have anything to say, put it on the buzzer. Let me know. In the Arizona suburbs, Herbert McDonough, a.k.a. Hi, H.I., played by the wonderful Sir Nicolas Cage, is a petty criminal who's arrested for robbing convenience stores. He is constantly in and out of jail, but is repeatedly paroled because he never uses live ammunition during his stick-ups. It's little things like this. It's just so stupid. Each time he returns to prison, he's booked by a young policewoman, Edwina, nicknamed Ed, played by Holly Hunter. And I tell you what right now, Holly Hunter, you're close. You're close getting on that smoke show list. You're close. You're close.
Might not be the movie to do it, but there's definitely one. I mean, she's Mrs. Incredible. I'm
telling you right now, Mrs. Incredible. Mrs. Incredible's getting on the list.
She's the top of the list.
Yes, she is. Absolutely. Amen. So Hi flirts with her as she takes his mugshots and an unlikely romance blossoms after Ed is abandoned by her cheating fiance. But did you notice so she goes, my finance cheated on me? Yeah. My finance. Despite his apparent addiction to breaking the law, Hi possesses a passionate loyalty to those he cares for, and he promises to Ed that after his latest release from prison, They marry and and have a new life together in a trailer in the Arizona desert. So, fun fact here, according to Ethan Cohen, Nicolas Cage was crazy about his Woody Woodpecker haircut that it reacted to high stress level. So the bigger the danger that he's in, the bigger that the waves in his
Makes
hair
so
are.
much sense.
Right? So like towards the end of the film, his hair's fucking nuts. That's kind of why. So Hai gets a legitimate job working as a welder in a factory while Ed continues her police work until they decide they want to start a family. However, Ed learns that she's infertile, and their attempts to adopt are foiled by Hai's criminal history. Fair enough. Ed is so devastated that she resigns from the police force, and Hai feels increasingly helpless until the news of the Arizona Quints is broadcast on television. Local furniture, fucking like Magnanite, Nathan Arizona and his wife Florence have welcomed quintuplet sons. Do you remember off the top of your head the names?
Yes. Gary, Larry, Harry. Is it Jerry? No,
Gary, Larry, Harry.
Harry, Barry, and Nathan Jr.
Yes, well done. It's so good. Ed and Hai are desperate for a child and eventually come to the conclusion that the Arizonas have more than they can handle and resolve to stealing one of the quintuplets to raise as their own. Also, as this is happening, you can kind of see they're just like living their life in the trailer park, and they're just like which is our background here. They're sitting on the camping chairs, looking at the sunset going down, and that's when the title shot comes up, and I think that's stunning title reveal.
It is one of my favorite openings to a movie, probably ever. The narration of him describing it, you learn so much about them so quickly, and it's
Yeah,
like the perfect way to tell the backstory without spending too much time. But then when they sit there, the aesthetic, the cinematography, it's perfection. The music starts and the title card. I mean, I'm just like, how? They didn't have to go that hard. They did not.
yeah.
And it worked so well.
That's one thing we have to mention is the music in this film is fucking.
It,
It's so good. It's very cartoonish. The whole time. It's kind of
your
like
mic almost isn't even picking it up because it's like
it's
so
that
like,
good. Yeah, well,
yeah,
but people know they can hear.
people know.
It might have actually picked up on my end for so
Okay.
the people were here. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, it's very like kind of like Benny Hill esque. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Very cartoon esque. Very very like old school cartoon esque. So I think it's goddamn great. But what do you think about the beginning of this film of like the relationship between High and Ed? Isn't
I
it,
just love it.
isn't it
Yeah, I think the
goals?
opening
Absolute goals.
such gold. I mean, it's so unrealistic. Like that the same cop would be working every time he gets, sent back to jail and
Turn to the
he's
right.
yeah, turn to the left.
Turn
Like
to the left.
it's such an unrealistic situation, but that's how you want it to be. Like this movie's so campy in that sense to where it's just so over the top in the best way possible. And I think that their relationship is really sweet. Um, I don't know. I love their dynamic. I love how they meet. I love the way they like talk to each other. And then I love their like little plan to take one of the babies. It's just like, and I think it's so sweet that Ed, like you could tell she's a good person, but she's willing to go places, to get what she wants. But even throughout the movie, she always is asking, like, they have more than they can handle, right? Like
Yeah,
she's really unsure, but she's like trying to convince herself, like, this isn't fair. And I'm with her. It is not fair that one person gets five babies and one person who really wants one can't even have any. I mean,
exactly.
I don't blame her.
Absolutely. A good little quote is how High describes in narration um, how Edwina's
Insights.
in like yeah infertile because Edwina's insides were a rocky place where my seed could not find no purchase.
Hmm. So good.
It's so funny. I fucking love this movie so much.
Repeat offender.
Down to the right. So High and Ed arrive at the Arizona home one evening, with Nathan and Florence Arizona none the wiser. Their five babies, Harry, Barry, Larry, Gary, and Nathan Jr., are unattended in their nursery. And High, by the way, the wife, the mother of these kids, I thought she was like the grandma. Like
That's the whole purpose is that they used fertility treatment. And
right.
so that happens. So when you're older and you have a baby and you use fertility assistance, you're more likely to have twins, triplets, quadruple. You're more likely to have more babies. So I think that's kind of the whole funny aspect of it, is that they are so old that they did these like fertility pills that they got like 5 babies on the first try.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. So yeah, Hi and Ed arrive at that and find all the babies unattended in the nursery, and Hi scales the house with a ladder and manages to steal Nathan Jr. The McDonahues drive home with the baby. By the way, that whole scene of him stealing the baby is so funny. It's so
Him
good.
going around and playing with all the babies and like the chaos of him trying to it's just peak like physical comedy.
But he comes back to the car and he's just like, couldn't get there, man. I couldn't get them, Ed. And he's like, you don't come back without my baby. It's so good. But they drive home with the baby, feeling somewhat guilty about their crime, but overjoyed to have a family at last. That night, Hi has a nightmare about a monstrous-looking man astride a motorcycle covered with guns and grenades roaring through the desert. Hi feels that the biker represents the evil that will be unleashed as soon as Arizonans find their son missing in the morning. So then when you have the shot of the mother finding out that the baby is missing. Fun fact here, the shot in which the camera moves in on Florence, Arizona, discovering that Nathan Jr. is gone, is a direct homage to The Evil Dead, a shot which Joel Cohen was an assistant editor on. So the whole like going right up to the face thing, like that's all from The Evil Dead. Well, fun fact for you there, Ash. The abduction of Nathan Arizona Jr. quickly becomes a local news item, and his father makes a public offer of $10,000 for his safe return, while also enlisting the local police to investigate the boy's disappearance. Florence, Arizona, and the remaining quintuplets temporarily locate until the media frenzy dies down. Meanwhile, High's prison buddies, the Snot brothers, Gail, John Goodman, and Evel, I believe his name, which is William Forsythe, tunnel out of the prison and steal a car before arriving at High's trailer in the dead of night, seeking refuge. High is excited to be reunited with his old friends, but Ed sees them as a bad influence and refuses to let them stay more than 1 or 2 days. High and Ed attempt to ease into normal married life and invite High's supervisor Glenn over with his family over for lunch, after the Snot brothers agree to stay away from the trailer for the afternoon. The visit becomes more than High can bear. Glenn is an insufferable piece of shit with a penchant for tasteless jokes, and his children are rude and destructive, and his wife Dot, played by Frances McDormand, who's fucking amazing in this film, tirelessly nags Ed and High about their childcare responsibilities. As Glenn and High take a walk in the surrounding desert, Glenn reveals to High that he and Dot are swingers and suggests a wife swap. Infuriated and stressed, High punches Glenn in the face. Glenn takes off running and is further injured when he collides with a cactus. So fun fact here, Frances McDormand and Holly Hunter were roommates at Yale School of Drama in 1982.
I love that.
That's good fun, right? So what do you think about these sort of scenes of like the aftermath of stealing the baby, and also Frances McDormand?
Yeah. I think it's adorable that they have like a welcome home son and they have the table covered and all the baby stuff. Also, I was a little confused at first because they make it sound like the Quints were just born, but these babies are like they're pushing 1 year old. I mean, these kids
they're crawling. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like at least 9 months. So maybe there was just a little bit of time in between. But yeah, I was laughing at the welcome home son sign. And that's really sweet. Those brothers are so obnoxious, so gross. If 2 grown men, I don't really care. You break out of jail, whatever, that's your business. But if you're gonna come in my house and sit on my couch covered in sewage and eat my cereal and make a mess and have beer spilled everywhere, straight to jail.
Straight to jail. Jail for life. Jail for life.
So disrespectful. I hate how they try to like pull this like misogynist out of High too, being like, oh, who wears the pants? And you're gonna let your lady talk to you like that? Like,
yeah.
Oh,
it's like
so
you're supposed to be in prison, guys.
Yeah. Like it's his wife. This is their home. Of course she gets a say. And if your prison buddies get to come hang out and make a ruckus in the middle of the night.
Amen.
So yeah, I think it's a good dynamic though, because obviously you need something to kind of shake things up and cause some tension between the two of them. So I think those characters definitely do it well. And they're funny. I do kind of get irritated by them after a while. They're just a lot to handle, which I think is the point. And then you have the scene with Glenn and Dot, like right after, it's just like so much chaotic energy back to back. And they have like 6 kids. Why? Who has 6 kids? I'm sorry. If you have 6 kids, bless you, but why?
Yeah,
How?
that's
No.
that's that's like that's tiring just to watch.
If you let your kids act like that, let alone at your house or but at somebody else's house, spreading fart on the wall,
Prison
also
for life.
yeah,
Prison for
I,
life.
I just can't. Not in my house. But yeah, I think they're great, like funny characters. Again, they all feel like cartoon characters, even like these side characters. I love Frances McDormand. She is one of the most talented actresses ever. She's so versatile. I love her more in Fargo, but I think she does like this really fun side role here. I think it's great.
Yeah, she's fantastic in Fargo, but I agree.
So,
She's like when she arrived in this film, like, oh, this is gonna be a good scene.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that guy's really funny. I forget that actor's name, but like he's in Drop Dead Gorgeous, he's in Christmas Vacation. He always plays like this really douchey side character. You just want to punch in the face. He's so good at playing that role.
Sam
Um,
McMurray.
yeah, he's great. So yeah, I think these are great scenes, and I'm completely on Ed's side. I think that it is ridiculous to have those guys staying there, especially with the baby. I love that
Yeah,
they actually believe the story of like
yeah.
why is there a welcome home sign? Like I
I
love that
love
whole.
those little things. Why is there a welcome
Uh,
home sign? Also, we didn't mention that there's a great little like prop that's with always with the baby. It's just like a manual to raise the kid.
yes.
That's
Here,
just
oh
like
yeah, he says at one point, all right, I got the baby, and she's like, which one is he? He's like Nathan Jr., I think. And here's the instructions, and he like
these
throws.
instructions. It's just how to raise a kid.
So great.
I
Yeah,
love
there's
it.
so many good moments. And then obviously him like punching him leads to him getting like fired, which is another bit of tension for the movie. So yeah, it's all just kind of like this momentum towards adding stress to their situation, which I think is really comedic and really great. And we get some great shots of like the scenery too. The cinematography. It goes so hard for
It
no
goes
reason at all.
so hard. It's so sick. Yeah, they're like the visuals of this film is actually stunning.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes. Nice. All right, we continue on. Ed is upset with High's behavior, worrying that he will lose his job after breaking his supervisor's nose. High does not mention Glenn's indecent proposition to her, but quietly reaches his breaking point when he drives them to a convenience store under the pretense that they're going to buy diapers for Nathan Jr. As Ed and the baby are waiting in the car, High attempts another robbery, his first since the marriage. One of the best scenes in Nick Cage's filmography. Wake up, son. We'll take the diapers and whatever money you got. Seeing her husband pointing a gun at the young store clerk attempting to leave with or while attempting to leave with the contents of the cash register and a pack of Huggies, Ed drives off in anger. The clerk triggers a silent alarm, summoning the police almost at once, and High takes off on foot through the neighborhood, prompting an elaborate chase, which of everyone, man, woman, police officer, and animals. Ed, though furious with High, picks him up before he can get arrested. They return home to with the stolen Huggies, and Ed, believing Gail and Evel to have influenced High to return to petty crime, and orders them to leave the next morning. As Ed and Nathan Jr. are asleep, High admits to the Snot brothers that he is likely to lose his job. Gail and Evel reveal their plan to rob a nearby bank in the next few days. While it will be rife with recently deposited farm checks, and suggests that High help them in exchange for a cut. High initially refuses, but Gale convinces him that he cannot make Ed happy or provide for what his family needs without the money that this robbery could provide. Feeling depressed and unworthy of Ed, High agrees, believing that she and the baby will be better off without him in their lives. The following morning, while Ed is running errands, Glenn arrives at the trailer wearing a neck brace and looking vengeful. High leaves the baby in the care of Gail and Evel and advising them to stay out of sight before venturing outside to face Glenn. As expected, Glenn fires High, but also reveals that he has been following the case of the missing Arizona baby and he suspects that High and Ed of kidnapping him. High does not deny it, but begs Glenn to keep quiet. Glenn agrees on the condition that High and Ed give the child to him and Dot, as they've been wanting another baby. Glenn departs, but Gail and Evel have overheard the conversation and immediately subdue and bind High, intending to return Nathan Jr. for the reward money. The Snot brothers depart with the baby, leaving High tied to a chair inside the trailer. So, Ash, What do you think about this section? It's all just like one little like fun, kind of like everything's starting to go wrong.
It's a comedy. It's hard to break them down for sure. Really, I mean, in this chunk, the part that stands out to me the most is really that aftermath of him trying to rob the store. I think that
Yes.
is one of the most hilarious scenes in the entire movie of the guy pushing the button to call the cops and then him escaping, she driving, drives away. Just the chaos of him running through with the dog and then she's still driving, the dropping the huggies, then swooping him back up late. Like all of it is he goes to another store and buys more diaper. Like it's all so hilarious. Like and there's no dialogue really happening. It's all just like physical comedy of like all these characters running around and doing things. And Nick Cage just really makes it, I think. And he's wearing that nylon on his head. Like it's just absolutely iconic. And then I love by the end, she just like swoops him up in the car with the baby still in there.
Yeah.
This baby is so cute, by the way, just in his little hoodie with his little hood on, just being a good boy, you
Just
know?
being a good little camper.
Oh, it's just that whole scene is so hilarious to me. I think that's one of my favorites in the entire movie. Yeah, it's just fantastic. I laughed so much during this part. And then I think obviously it needed to happen for people to find out that they took the baby so that there could obviously be chaos ensued there, which leads to a lot of funny moments in the like third chunk of the movie. So yeah, this middle chunk is really just like a lot of build up to what's going to happen with this baby, or who's going to end up with him, and how's it all going to go down. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ash, you're a good little. You summarize everything really well. Well done. Awesome.
thank you.
Thank you. Ed returns to the trailer where she and Hai immediately arm themselves and prepare to pursue Gale and Evil to retrieve Nathan Jr. As they drive, Ed admits that she was foolish and selfish to insist that they take the baby in the first place, and that although she still loves Hai, she doubts that they are good for each other. Through troubled and about the state of their relationship, the McDonoughs remain focused for the moment on the safety of Nathan Jr., whom they've come to love as their own. Meanwhile, Nathan, Arizona is increasingly frustrated with the local authorities who have made no headway in finding their son. He's approached in the office by the intimidating man, the biker, who is identical to the biker in High's nightmares. Introducing himself as Leonard Smalls, which, one sec, I've got the fucking quote here. It's fucking brilliant.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of quotes, but I just scroll down. Wait, let's be able to find it. Who the hell are you? Smalls. Leonard Smalls. My friends call me Lenny, but I ain't got no friends. I fucking love him. Introducing himself as Leonard Smalls, the biker explains that he is a highly experienced bounty hunter and that he will find Nathan Jr. for the price of $50,000. Nathan Sr. refuses, assuming that Smalls had kidnapped the boy himself and is holding him for ransom. Smalls assures him that he will find Nathan Jr. regardless and will sell him on the black market if his father refuses to pay. Nathan Sr. attempts to call the police. Calls the police, but Smalls disappears without another word. Leonard Smalls follows up on a lead of a recent prison break and tracks down the Snot brothers to Ed and High's empty trailer. There he finds clues of Nathan Jr.'s presence and follows the trail into town where Gale and Evil, after having robbed a roadside store, where they briefly left Nathan Jr. behind and made a hasty return to retrieve him, are preparing to embark on their anticipated bank heist. Unwilling to leave Nathan Jr., whom they've grown fond of, in their car unattended, they carry him into the bank while they're threatening customers with shotguns. That's so good. They're like, all right, everyone, put their hands up. They bring in like a little car.
Put your hands up. Get on the ground. Which is it? How can we do both?
Yeah. Which is it, son? They leave with a sack of cash, unaware of a teller had put in a hidden exploding dye pack within it. As they depart, they realize with horror that they've forgotten the baby. As they made a panicked U-turn, the dye pack explodes, forcing them to stop the car. Hai and Ed catch up with them, hauling them out of the vehicle, demanding to know the whereabouts of Nathan Jr. Gale and Evil explain that they left him at the bank, and Hai and Ed race off in the dice-bladed car. Leaving the Snot brothers on the side of the road. So before we get into the end of the film, Ash, what do you think about this whole, like, it's good fun, right? It's just good. It's just dumb good fun
It's so fun.
of this whole heist scene. But it's like I just love how the the Snot brothers are just instantly become just like obsessed with this baby as well. I love this scene, but it's just much more of a cartoon.
Mhm.
This movie kind of turns into, especially with the biker with Lenny Smalls. Don't you think?
Yeah, and I think a lot of the chase scenes with the car, they just feel very much like not a realistic like car chase scenes. Or it does makes you feel very much like you're like in a cartoon. And a lot of like the sound effects, I feel like kind of fit that as well, which makes it really funny. But yeah, I think we haven't really touched on Nathan Arizona too much, but I just think he's probably the most cartoony of all of them, and he does get a little annoying in moments because his accent's just so thick and he's so over the top. Or my name's not Nathan Arizona. But he's just it's so perfect. It's such a great character. I love when he's like, I don't know what kind of jammies they are. They're jammies. And then when Leonard like talks to him, he's like, "Oh, stop! You're gonna make me bust out crying." There's just so many good lines. He's really funny, and I think that Leonard is a very odd, mysterious character, but it kind of works. It's definitely it's almost like because you have Nick Cage character and like obviously Gail or is it Dale or Gail? Gail
Gale.
and Evil, they're all ex-cons. So it's almost like they wanted to create this guy who's even scary to like ex-cons. Like
Yeah.
he just like took all the scariest things you can come up with, like burly and tattoo and hairy and just like all the grenades and guns. Like they made him as like scary as he can be on a motorcycle, because he has to be threatening to even people
Yeah.
who are criminals, right? So I think that makes it really fun. I love when he swoops the baby's like seat and just like plops it on the front of the
Boom.
motorcycle.
Yeah. It's so good.
So good.
It's
I mean, I think it's a little bit funny that all the characters are in the place they need to be at the exact right moment. You know what I mean? Like as soon as the baby's about to get hit with the car, it's like they stop at the exact right time. Like in that sense, it feels very much like a cartoon, like Looney Tunes type of style, which is just makes it so much fun. Like it's just endless fun to be had. And I think that Nick Cage brings something to it that just makes it so like electric and just so like you're just so excited to be watching this journey of this, these characters. So I think everyone's great, but I do think that he really makes it what it is.
wholeheartedly, absolutely. It's this movie's so fucking good. As Ed and High approach the bank, the bounty hunter Smalls appears on his motorcycle. Nathan Jr., who's sitting calmly on the road in his car seat, is snatched up by Smalls before the McDonoughs can reach him. But during the ensuing scuffle, Ed manages to take the baby and hide within the bank. High distracts Smalls, enduring a horrendous beating in the process, but discreetly removes a pin of one of his grenades strapped to Smalls' vest. I love that. He looks at High, and High's just like, I'm so sorry. And like walks away. I love that. Smalls, unaware of this, continues to brutalize High by throwing him to the edge of the road, but is promptly killed by the ensuing explosion. Relieved at having Nathan Jr. back safe and sound, High and Ed decide the time has come to return him to his true family. They attempted to do this to do so quietly, using a ladder to enter the nursery window one last time, from which High kidnapped him from. But are discovered in the act by Nathan Sr. Overjoyed at his son's return and finding no harm done to him, he offers High and Ed the posted reward, but they refuse it. As Nathan Sr. watches them admire the baby, he deduces that they are the kidnappers as well as the rescuers. However, he is sympathetic to their wishes to have their child as their own and encourages them not to give up on their marriage or their dream of having a family, asserting that there is no need to call the police. Nathan Sr. allows the McDonoughs to leave. That night, High has a dream in which seems to give him a glimpse of both their near and distant future. Gail and Evil, realizing that they're not ready yet to enter society again, return to prison via the same tunnel that they escaped from. Glenn has no luck trying to convince people that High and Ed had kidnapped the Arizona baby and gets in trouble after telling an offensive joke to a police officer. Nathan Jr. Progresses through childhood, receiving a football as a Christmas gift from a kindly anonymous couple, and later becoming a high school football star. An elderly husband and wife living in a trailer, much like the McDonoughs, welcome their many children and grandchildren for a holiday dinner. High tentatively hopes that such a future may become a reality for himself and for Ed. That is Raising Arizona. So Ash, what do you think about the ending of this film? What do you think about this movie as a whole? And give me a score.
I love it so much. Yeah, I think the ending's great. I love that it sort of starts with him narrating, and he has that dream, obviously, of like the threat of Leonard, and then it ends with him also narrating, having a dream, but it's like positive. I just think it's a really sweet way to wrap up the story that's already been kind of chaotic and funny. I think it's like a really wholesome way to end it, and I really like the ending. But I like the way they use narration in this movie. I think it works really well, and I think his accent that he does and like the way that his character talks, it just adds so much to the comedy. The phrasing he uses, and Nick Cage just gives everything in this role. It's just absolutely fantastic. But I do love that they end up going back to prison, like the way they
Yeah, I
escaped,
love that. That's good fun.
especially because they tell her at the beginning. I have the quotes here because they're just so funny. I want to make sure I get them right. But when she tells him they busted out of jail, Evel's like, "No, ma'am, we released ourselves on our own recognizance." And then Gail says, "What Evel here is trying to say is that we felt that the institution no longer had anything to offer us." Great. The dialogue is so smart. It's so witty, which does not surprise me. I mean, I tend to be a Coen brothers lover. I know people can kind of be hit or miss with
I
them.
love them as well.
Yeah, their movies work for me, especially their comedies like The Big Lebowski, Burn After Reading, Fargo. I just think they're all fantastic.
Very
So
quirky.
very quirky. I like this type of like quirky, weird, campy humor. I think it's not funny in the same way. I was just telling Adam this. It's not funny in the same way like super bad is funny. It's a different type of humor. And
Yes.
either it works for you or it doesn't. Like it's just that simple.
It's less about like one-liners and more about like an experience or like the whole like piece of
Yes.
being like this is absurdist in a way.
It's a type of character comedy, but not in the same way like Michael Myers does it. Like with, Austin Powers, for example. It's
Yeah.
not that type of character comedy. It's like types of people you might meet in different places in the world, and they just kind of like shape the whole movie around that. So it's like, Fargo's in like, North Dakota or whatever, and then you have like this in Arizona. It's just like these funny places where you might meet these quirky people, and they
Yeah.
just sort of run with it, and it works so well. So this
And
one
it's
I
like
think
yeah.
is one of the best.
And it's like in an environment that's like slightly bizarre. It's like
Yes,
slightly like yeah, it's like
exactly.
it's not like out of this world bizarre, but it's like you can see that this isn't reality in a way, you know. That's what makes
100%.
that's what makes it fun. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I think I gave it a high 4 out of 5. And I think I can see it going up. I just think I'm just excited to watch it again. I think it's definitely going to become like a staple, like to mix into the comedy, cycle of rewatches for me. And I think it's definitely one of Nick Cage's best, especially like comedic roles. He's obviously had some other like dramatic roles, but this one's great from the comedy perspective. And yeah, music's great, cinematography's great, just to add some other things that aren't like just the comedy.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, I love that opening scene and title card. I think it's one of my favorites ever. So yeah, high 4, and I just think it's something that everybody should watch at least once in their life.
Yeah, this is a horrifically underappreciated film.
Hmm.
This film is like a movie that everyone's going to enjoy. Some people are going to love it less than others. Like I'm giving it a 4.5. But I feel like this is a movie that like no one can walk away from this and say that they didn't have a good time. This is just
Right.
bare bones fun. This is just a fun, light-hearted film that has a really lovely message about love and commitment. I mean, you know.
100%.
But like these two characters, you just love them so much from the beginning. Like, sure, High is a criminal, but like the scene where you instantly like, oh wait, I love High is when he punches Glenn for like
Yes.
disrespecting Ed in a way. You're instantly like, oh, High's the fucking man. High's
He
the
also
fucking
doesn't like laugh at Glenn's like racist jokes,
yeah.
or like he kind of has those moments with his buddies where he's feeling like, oh, is my wife like showing who wears the pants? And but you can tell he's like conflicted with that even.
Yeah.
But those are his friends. So it's like, yeah, he's trying to kind of be like, oh, these are my buddies. But he is like he's a good guy. He cares about her.
Absolutely, yeah. This movie's fantastic. Giving it a high 4.5.
Love it.
It's just such a rewatchable film. You can put this on when you're feeling when you had a bit of a blue day, and it'll definitely pick you up for sure. So definitely watch Raising Arizona. I'm sure you have if you've reached the end of this podcast. If not, you've heard everything that happens in the film anyway. But for next week, please give Adaptation a watch, which is another Nick Cage film that's directed by Spike Jonze. It's one of his very best. Spike Jonze also has a very short filmography. I think it's like 3 or 4 films. All are fucking amazing. There's Adaptation, her the Where the Wild Things Are and Being John Malkovich. That's his entire filmography. That's how good is that? Concise.
I don't love Being John Malkovich. I don't know what it is. I just could not get into it. It's not my favorite, but I do love her, obviously.
Yeah,
And
her's
I have not
fantastic.
seen adaptation, so I'm excited.
I'm so keen for you to watch adaptation. I think you're gonna love it. It's good fun. Also, it's more of just like it's more drama role, but it's like very very the story behind it. We'll talk about it next week. The story behind it is fantastic. But until then, Ash, we've got a little game of the show. We're doing another little movie draft, but we always do something a bit quirky here. So Nick Cage's haircut in this is fucking stunning. So we're doing the best haircuts, best hairstyles, whatever you like to call it, in movies. Ash, I did do the random wheel generator, and I got first pick. Sorry.
Go for it.
And the first pick is going to be someone that you want. So again, I apologize, but just take this as a compliment that we both think that this is probably the best haircut in film. All right, I'm gonna take Mia Wallace from Pulp Fiction. That it's just you see that haircut and
How dare you? I literally have this. I'm staring at this.
That's really cool. Where'd you get that from?
Oh, okay, so shout out husband moment. But after we went and saw it at the New Beverly, Adam kept our tickets, and then he got this,
That's
and then
very
he
cool.
put the tickets here.
That's very very cool. That's awesome.
It's very sweet.
Good husband.
Great pick.
Great pick.
Perfect.
Hell yeah. So you got yours.
Okay. Well,
Were you gonna take that first?
I don't know if I was gonna take it first. I had it on the list. I don't. You know me. I'm always trying to mix it up. I try to not pick the same characters or same movies. Like
I respect
I'm
it.
gonna go with the classic one, and I'm gonna take Princess Leia with
Damn
her
it, yeah.
buns. It's
Of
so
course.
iconic.
Yeah, nice one.
Never taken a Star Wars movie, I don't think, on any of my drafts. So
Nice one. No, that's really good. Oh, I'm going to go the classic scientist with Doc Brown from Back to the Future.
great pick. I actually didn't have that written down. That's such a good one. There's so many movies. I was like, how do I even start to think about hair? Like, I just feel like it's one of those things. Like, it's just hard to narrow it down.
Absolutely.
That's a good pick. Okay. This might not be a lot of people's like pick this high up, but I think it's pretty iconic. And then the new one's coming out
Yeah, I'm
soon.
already writing it down.
Episodes of Lydia Dietz from Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
It's
Yeah.
one of my favorites
I
ever.
had that down, and I was in my head. I was like, I either got to take Mia Wallace or Lydia. I can't take both of them from Ash.
I would never talk to you again.
Yeah. I can't wait for the new one. By the way, between us, new one apparently so good.
Yeah, I'm ready. I mean, how can you go wrong with that cast? It's so good. I like Tim Burton usually. I mean, he's had some misses for me for sure, but Beetlejuice is one of my favorite movies of all time. So
Amen.
I'm gonna have fun watching it.
Well, I'm about to win right now with this pick.
I didn't know we were doing this for winning.
I'm gonna say this and you'll be like, holy shit, that is probably the best haircut of all time. Titular character, the name of the character is the name of the movie. Life's a garden, you just gotta dig it. I'm gonna go Joe Dirt.
Ugh, such a good pick.
It's so good.
I genuinely cannot stand David Spade. That is the only movie with him that I can tolerate because I do love Joe Dirt, but I cannot stand him in anything else.
Is there a Joe Dirt 2?
Yes,
Holy shit, it came out in 2015.
it's bad. It's really bad.
10%
Try
Rotten
to
Tomatoes.
separate him having like a daughter, and it's bad.
Oh yeah, I'm just never gonna watch this. Joe Dirt 1 though, iconic.
So good.
It's like Super Troopers. Remember how they made a Super Troopers 2? That
Yeah, they
wasn't
just
good.
shouldn't have.
What the fuck? Joe Dirt 1 has a lower Rotten Tomato score than Joe Dirt 2. It's 9% on Rotten Tomatoes. God, fucking
That's insanity.
get some culture into you know?
That's insanity. Okay, wow. Well, I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes anyways, so.
Yeah, fair play.
Well, my next pick is going to be one of the most handsomest, smolderingest men ever. You could really take him in any movie he's in, but I'm going to take Brendan Fraser in Airheads
Oh,
because he's
good
got
pick.
long rocker hair, and it's so good. George of the Jungle is a second for me. I was like so close to taking that, but just Brendan Fraser. And really anything, his hair looks great.
I like that. That's really good. I'm going to go Achilles in Troy. Brad Pitt.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I haven't really seen that in a long time, but that's a good
Super
one.
long, flowing hair. Love that.
Well, speaking of long, luscious hair, I'm going to take Legolas because
Yeah.
he has some great hair.
Amen. That's very
Shout
good.
out Orlando Bloom.
That's good. We're screaming through. This is good. Now, there's a couple that I'm getting stressed over haircuts.
We can do 7. Do a couple more.
I'm not sure we'll be able to make. We'll try. We can do
Okay,
7.
you don't have to, but I thought you were feeling maybe like you didn't have enough picks.
I'm just scared if you start to. No, we'll do 7. We can do 7. I'm gonna go Mary from There's Something About Mary.
So ridiculous.
Yeah.
The bangs.
Yeah.
Love it. Nice. Well, I have quite a few left. So if you do want to do more, just let me know. But
Yeah, let's do
okay.
it. I've added up to 7 now.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna take that one because it's just not gonna happen. I think I'm gonna go with Lilu.
Damn it!
I'm sorry. I thought you would have taken it by now if you really wanted.
Yeah, I would have. That's fine.
There's another character in that movie that's got some great hair too.
Oh, I know. No. Come on, my man. You give me
But
fire.
the
I have no
orange,
fire.
I had a friend in college who wore that as a Halloween costume. She went like so hard with it and did like the full gold getup and the hair. She actually had her hair dyed orange. It was fantastic.
That is very good.
Such an iconic one.
I'm going to go Danny Zuko from Greece.
Nice.
Fucking nice sleek back. I think that's fun.
All the hair in that movie is so classic.
Yeah.
Grease doesn't age well for me, but it's still a very classic movie.
Apparently Greece 2 is better.
Me too.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Okay. So this is 6 and 7 now, right? Or did you just...
I've done my 6. So you've got your 6.
Okay.
And then I got 7. Then you do 7.
Oh, God, there's some... these 4 I have left. I honestly would take all of them if I can. Because I didn't get it in the coming of age draft and I want something associated with Almost Famous here, I'll take Penny Lane. I think her curly blonde hair is so perfect and so iconic.
Nice. Now, I just want to get his name. I'm going to do... Because one of his haircuts has already been taken, but Brendan Fraser, aka Rick O'Connell in The Mummy, stunning haircut.
Oh, I just rewatched that movie. Oh my God.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
So dreamy.
Yeah.
He's so dreamy. I mean, I was going more for like, the vibe of Airheads. I don't like that movie as much, obviously, but I just think the rocker kind of look is so perfect for him.
Of course. Nice.
Oh, the movie's so good. I almost gave it 5 stars. I'm not going to lie.
As you should. As you should.
Rachel Weisz also. Can we just...
She's on the list.
She's definitely... The only brunette that's on the list right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Or technically in Vertigo, Madeline is both a blonde and brunette. Spoilers. Mm-hmm. Blonde and brunette.
You're right. Okay, my last pick. Got in between 3. I feel like my list is very female heavy. Well, I have a couple guys, I guess. I feel like I have to go with... I just did a curly hair one, so I'm not going to do that. You know, I'm going to go with David Bowie in Labyrinth.
Nice.
That wild-ass hair.
Love it.
I was thinking about Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman, but it's like I just took a curly hair woman, so don't want to do that again.
Stunning hair, though.
So good.
Nice. So to recap, I had Mia Wallace from Pulp Fiction, Doc Brown, Back to the Future, Joe Dirt, Achilles from Troy, Mary from There's Something About Mary, Danny Zuko from Grease, and Brendan Fraser specifically from The Mummy. Ash, you had Princess Leia with the buns in Star Wars, because I know she has a lot of hair, but the buns are the most iconic. Yeah. Lydia from Beetlejuice, Brendan Fraser from Airheads, Legolas from Lord of the Rings, Lilu, damn it, from Fifth Element, Penny Lane from Almost Famous, and David Bowie from Labyrinth. Some classic hairstyles there. Holy shit.
Lots of variety, too. Look at us.
The only other one that I had on my list was Lloyd from Dumb and Dumber.
I had that, too. I was also thinking... the bowl cut's fantastic. Also, I feel like both of their hair in that movie is pretty chaotic and great.
How do we not do Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men? Oh wow, we're
gonna get canceled for that. That's a good one.
We missed big time. Holy shit, that's hilarious.
I was about to say my honorable mention was Cher, and we're over here like forgetting one of the greatest
haircuts of all time. Oh well. Well, next week, please do go ahead and watch Adaptation to continue our month of the Cage Rage, the Nick Cage. But until next time, I'm Harry, that's Ash. This is Love, Death, Movies. We'll see you at the movies.